He also complained about only being allowed 9 telephone calls with his attorney in the last year. El Chapo was serving life in the nation's most secure prison on drug trafficking and firearms charges. The prison is also known as Alcatraz of the Rockies. It is home to some of the most notorious terrorists and criminals. Joining us now is someone who knows El Chapo quite well, former Deputy Administrator of the DEA, Jack Riley. Jack helped bring him down. Welcome to the show. Good to have you on tonight. 66-year-old Joaquín Guzmán, a.k.a. El Chapo, is currently in isolation at Supermax. What's life like for him now?
Well, I hope it's brutal. Clearly, I think he's confined to a small cell 23 hours a day. I believe they get 1 hour of exercise isolated. They don't have contact with other inmates. And quite frankly, I wish he'd have gotten the death penalty because he is truly a mass murderer of grand proportions. But I'm pretty certain he's unhappy where he is, and I like that just fine.
Jack, it's a far cry from the conditions of his incarceration in prisons in Mexico, where he paid off the guards and, according to many reports, even the wardens of the prison, and lived in comfort with visitors coming in and meals being brought in. Very, very different circumstances when he was incarcerated there.
Absolutely. I mean, he ruled the roost there. We know that he had literally millions of dollars a month going out to pay for corrupt officials, both in the prison system, the police, the military, and really on all the way up to the presidential palace. So this is a guy that was on top for 20 years, and he is now serving justice the American way. And I think he would rather have had a rival put a bullet in his head than being seated where he is now for the rest of his life.
President Obrador said today that he would be open to a truce of some sort with the cartels. And then he said, quote, cartel members should assume responsibility and behave like good citizens. What's your reaction to that?
It's crazy. I mean, this is the same guy that said fentanyl is not being produced in Mexico. He clearly has failed in his initiative to make peace with the cartels. These are the largest, most violent, well-funded criminal organizations I think that we've ever seen. And he's going to have to do a little bit more than just talk about peace. I think it's going to take some very tough decisions, and he's going to have to bring the Americans in to work with them. If you look at it right now, Elizabeth, the cartels, in my opinion, are actually terrorist organizations, should be treated as same. And it's going to take us working together with the Mexicans to do any damage.
Right. In fact, several senators, led by Senator Lindsey Graham just a few weeks ago, led an effort. They called for designating these cartels as terrorist organizations. What would that allow us to do in the United States? I'm not, tell me exactly what you and the DEA, the military, what could we possibly do? Mexico is a sovereign country.
Well, clearly the legislation would allow us to have additional resources in terms of equipment, the help of the military in terms of surveillance, but it would also open up the ability to sanction Mexican leaders and to hurt them financially. And remember, the cartels are in business for money. So being able to take their emphasis for doing business away is important. And it would also allow us to have a stronger presence, I think, in Mexico and certainly the surrounding countries, which would give us an opportunity to kind of choke it off from where it starts. I just don't think the American people understand that we share a border with these people, and clearly Mexico right now, in my opinion, is somewhat out of control.
The Sinaloa cartel, which El Chapo led, is now considered to be the dominant cartel in Mexico. El Chapo's sons, Los Chapitos, are the people now calling the shots there. How did it gain dominance, and what threats does that particular organization pose? Because for a long time, they were all feuding and sort of canceling each other out in many ways and fighting amongst themselves for domination. Sinaloa has now emerged.
Well, this is really a result of Chapo Guzmán asserting himself over the last 20 years and doing away with his rivals. But I tell you, the other thing that's really happened here is he's gotten to the Mexican government at all levels in terms of corruption. You got to understand, Chapo was on top for 3 presidential transitions. in Mexico, and that's really unheard of for organized crime leaders. Usually they lose a lot of their influence when the president changes. He has not, and
Right.
his sons have picked up the pace, and fentanyl now has become their cash crop. It's exactly what they've planned on doing.
Finally, just 10 seconds left, Jack, but I did want you to weigh in. There was a recent report on Los Chapitos, the sons. They're as bad as their dad, are they not?
I think they're worse. I think Chapo understood that too much violence is bad for business. I don't think his sons have any idea what too much violence is, and they're prepared to kill to stay in power, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Wow.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.